So, I have received a ton of inquiries from folks wondering if Social Security is really in danger. And yes is the response. We are approaching this. Therefore, I want to clarify what the true danger to Social Security is and warn you in advance. Currently, it is unrelated to Social Security's impending insolvency in 2033. That is not the topic at hand. We're not referring about the $200 increase each month that certain politicians want to put in a measure. Welcome to the Updates Area channel. The main issue is that they don't have adequate assistance. That poses a distinct danger. The debt limit is the true danger I'm bringing up today. I'll be quite clear about this now. We do have some significant worries, say the U.S. Treasury and other White House officials. Many people believe that these issues wouldn't be an issue since the U.S. Treasury would step forward and ensure that Social Security pensioners get paid first. They can't do that, which is the issue. The debt limit is now the largest issue. President Biden and the major 4 members of Congress met last week, according to President Biden, and, several stories. They did not, however, leave with a new agreement. Nothing was agreed upon by them. They basically left this meeting with the intention to go on. Following that meeting, the White House and congressional officials began negotiating and searching for areas of agreement so they could utilize those points as a starting point for further discussion. Because it could take too long, this is truly a concern. This is the reason the meeting that was initially set for Friday, good, but could you kindly leave, has been postponed and will now take place later this week. This is where it becomes problematic, however. President Biden cannot just implement the 14th Amendment, claim White House officials. You've definitely seen stories about it and heard numerous news outlets discuss how President Biden intended to pass the 14th Amendment and just raise the debt limit on his own. However, according to statements made by White House staff, he is preventing Congress from doing their duties even though he has legal jurisdiction to do so, and other senators have made the same claim. The problem with this is that it sets a bad precedent if it is implemented. When does it end exactly? The important question is that, now that there are so many moving components, Congress has to figure out how to come to an agreement. And here is where it can really make things worse. Several White House officials claim that in the event that the United States is unable to fulfill all of its obligations, the Treasury is unable to pick and choose which payments are paid. And I've said this before. In fact, I just mentioned it last week. If the U.S. Treasury misses just one payment, it may be for $1 million or for only $1,500. It is irrelevant. The United States government has already defaulted on its obligations if they miss even one payment. Single payment. I'm done now. The cause of this issue is as follows. This implies that beneficiaries of Social Security have a very high likelihood of missing their payment. It won't arrive on time. Even if you get it 2 days, 7 days, or even 28 days after you were supposed to, we would be in default on our payments if you make a late payment. This is a huge, huge problem. Okay, so if we don't pay our bills, millions of Americans won't be able to afford essentials of life. This covers a wide range of expenses, such as food, rent, utilities, medication, trips to the doctor, petrol, and so much more. I could really go on forever. The major issue at hand is what to do. How can this be resolved? Some claim that taking care of Social Security first is the only way to resolve this problem. That's not necessarily the case, however. Due to the debt limit that is essentially hanging over our heads, we are unable to maintain Social Security. President Biden does, in fact, have a plan, but it is really too ambitious for Republicans to simply adopt, particularly with a year till the midterms. What are some of the components of President Biden's proposal to give you an idea? He wants to raise payroll taxes, which would result in higher incomes and more revenue. He prefers the CPIE over the CPIW. The elderly would profit more from this, and your payments and monthly benefits would go up. Additionally, he wants to raise the age for main insurance coverage from 78 to, I think, 82, while only increasing the cost by 1% a year. So far, they are the only modifications he wants to make. Again, however, implementing these modifications now does not imply that your Social Security payments will be guaranteed even if we go into default on our obligations. So let me tell you what I know. Initially, take this as a warning. I have no first-hand knowledge of whether or not we will reach a consensus to raise the debt limit. I really believe we will, but once again, today is May 14th, which means we have around 17 days till June 1, Saint Happy Mother's Day to any moms out there. At that moment, we may be able to stop making payments on our loans. It's impossible to predict the day of the week it will fall on. June 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 17, 19, or 24. It is irrelevant. We already know that there will be a lot of anxiety as the hypothetical default date or the X date draws nearer. This poses a serious threat to Social Security because, as experts are telling us, if we default on our debts, Social Security payments may be delayed, or, and this is the key, they may not be delayed at all, which would be ideal. The issue is that, if they aren't postponed, the U.S. Treasury will take the funds and essentially target Social Security, delivering that money to beneficiaries of Social Security first, which would be fantastic. How about the other payments, though? What about transfers to other nations? Why do we make all these extra payments? What about contributions to the parks, SNAP assistance, affordable housing, or even simply maintaining the operations of our many agencies? Then, what happens? Do the politicians who are now in office say to themselves, well, man, if I'm not going to get paid, I don't want to be here? Could it occur? That's right, and what happens after that? So, even if the debt limit situation may not have an effect on Social Security, guess what? If we go into default and this problem persists, the American economy may collapse. The world economy may collapse as a result. The value of the US dollar may fully decline and fall. The real estate market would tank and fall. Banks face difficulties. The American public would quit making purchases. There would be an immediate recession and maybe a depression. Once again, is a danger, but few people, in my opinion, are taking it seriously. But once again, I'm taking this seriously because I'm aware of what it may be capable of. Potential is the watchword once again. The possibility of the United States experiencing a debt default is unknown. We are uncertain as to whether the debt limit will be raised. I predict that we will raise the debt limit because the consequences of doing otherwise will be considerably worse than the benefits of doing so. Okay, so this time we are aware of the location. As usual, I pledge to return and offer all the most recent information as soon as I learn it. I want to thank you all again for watching. Enjoy the remainder of your day. Think about subscribing. On the next one, I'll see you everyone.